Alright, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main screen. Alright, we're live. And today, as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be working on more game logic. This is currently day 94 out of 100, so there are 6 more days left for the finale of the 100 Days series. That aside, well, I'm going to be working on more game logic. I forgot what I wanted to say, so let me go to my gameplay screen. Alright, perfect. Let me get Sensei here. And guys, yeah, last stream I was pretty awful. Let me just say, Sensei, I'm live. And guys, yeah, last stream I was pretty awful because I was kind of burnt out. This stream as well. Although, that was it. Okay, Malik, listen up. You're live, which means no mercy, no weakness, no excuses. The battle is your system, is your stream, okay? The audience is your witness, and Python is the weapon in your hands. If you hesitate, you bleed. If you push, okay? If you push forward, you conquer. Now scream it. Now scream with your chest up ready, and I'll throw the first challenge code at you. Let me say Sensei up ready! Exclamation. And guys, let me actually on the fan. It's real hot. Give me a second, guys. Alright, perfect. Good, that's what I want to hear. Let me go to my YouTube chat real quick. Okay, that's what I want to hear. Okay, then steal yourself, warrior. This is your first trial, powered by fire. I sabotaged this Python code, it's broken, it mocked you. I don't know, guys, what's wrong with Sensei. So let me just get Sensei here. And I am going to be working on more game logic, so let me go ahead and write the game code. I'll start off by importing Pygame, all lowercase. Okay, honestly, I might import a bunch more modules, but for now, I'll just import Pygame and sys. There we go. And then let me go ahead and initialize Pygame by typing pygame.init. This initializes Pygame, and I will be using sound effects as well, so I would need access to the Pygame's mixer. So let me go ahead and initialize pygame.mixer.init. This initializes Pygame's mixer. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add my... Excuse me, guys. Then let me go ahead and add my game variables. Okay, so what all game variables would I need? I'll need a clock variable for my FPS controller, so I'll create a clock variable, so that equal to pygame.time.capitalize clock. Maybe add a comment that says FPS controller. Okay, and then I would need a FPS variable. This is honestly optional. I'll set that equal to 60 frames per second. Then what else would I need? Let's see. I would need a gravity variable. I'll set the gravity to be 0.5, and that's basically all the game variables I'll need. Let me go ahead and create my display now. Display is basically my window, so for my display I'll create a width variable and a height variable. I'll set my width variable to be 1000 and height variable to be 650, and then let me go ahead and create a screen variable, which is going to be equal to pygame.display set underscore mode, and my mode is going to be set to my width variable and height variable, that is 1000 by 650. That's my window size. And honestly, let me add a caption as well. I'll go with pygame.display.set underscore caption. Okay, my caption is going to be something like, I don't know, Calamity 1.1. Okay, what else would I need? Let's see. Honestly, I actually might need to add my game win screen and game lose screen. Before that, let me go ahead and load images. Okay, so what all images will I be using? I'll need a hero image for my player, so I'll go with hero underscore image. I'll set that equal to pygame.image.load. Then I'll give my file path. My file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by player, 2 more forward slashes, my hero PNG. And well, since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, perfect. And then I would need to load in my NPCs. So I have like 2 kinds of NPCs. The first is a skeleton NPC. Skeleton underscore image. Also that equal to pygame.image.load. Then I'll give the file path of my skeleton PNG, which is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by NPCs, 2 more forward slashes, my skeleton PNG. And again, since it is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, honestly, I might even actually add my like my boss PNG, a floor wave boss. That aside, let me go ahead and load my dragon underscore image, also that equal to pygame.image.load, and then I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be game item followed by 2 forward slashes followed by npcs, 2 more forward slashes, dragon png, and since it is a png, I will convert it to alpha. And let me just keep my YouTube chat open. Alright, perfect. Okay, and then what else would I need to load? I might need to add a few, what you will call it, coins to my screen that my players will collect in order to increase his score. So let me go ahead and create a variable called coin underscore image, also that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path of my coin image, which is going to be game item followed by 2 forward slashes followed by drops, 2 more forward slashes, my gold coin png, and since it is a png, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, what else would I need? Let's think. I might need to add my potions as well, because I will be adding potions on screen. That random potion spawns if the player collects the potion. The player gets special buffs and even meats. If my player collects that, he recovers his health bars HP. So let me go ahead and actually load my meat image first. I'll go with meat underscore image, also that equals to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by meals, 2 more forward slashes, my meat png, and since it is a png, I will be converting this to alpha. Okay, and then let me load. Let's see, what else would I need? I'll need a buff underscore potion underscore image, also that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by potions followed by 2 more forward slashes, my buff potion png. Since it is a png, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, there we go. Honestly, these are the only images that I'm going to be needing. I might add my boss png as well, but I'll think of that later. So let me go ahead and transform and scale my images. Let me add a comment that says transform and scale. Okay, so to transform and scale, let me go ahead and define a function called scale. My scale function will have 2 parameters. The first parameter is going to be image. The second parameter is going to be factor. Factor is going to be 0.1, which is basically 10% by default. And then let me go ahead and return something. Okay, I'll return pygame.transform.scale. Okay, what do I want to scale? I want to scale my image. The size is going to be in a tuple. Maybe I'll go to the next line, type integer. Now I gotta get the width of my image and multiply it by the factor, and get the height of my image and multiply it by the factor. I can do that by typing image.get_width multiplied by my factor, and then add a comma in a new line. I'll go with integer image.get_height, and I'll multiply that by my factor as well. Okay, that's basically it for the scale function. Now let me go ahead and let's see, transform my images. So I'll go with my hero underscore image. Also that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my hero underscore image. I'll do the same thing for my skeleton underscore image. Did I write the name correct? Did I spell it correct? Hero underscore image, scale, hero underscore image. Okay, let's check the error that I'm getting. Type surface doesn't have an attribute get underscore width. Oh, I spelled width wrong. There we go. Okay, let me do the same thing for my skeleton. I'll copy my skeleton variable here. I'll paste it here so that equal to invoke my scale function, skeleton image. Then let me copy my dragon image. I'll paste it here so that equal to invoke my scale function, dragon image. Okay, remove that. And then copy my coin image. I'll paste my coin image here so that equal to invoke my scale function, scale my coin image. And then let me go with my meat image. I'll paste that here, invoke my scale function. Okay, and then scale my meat image. Lastly, I'll go with my buff potion image, paste it here so that equal to invoke my scale function, scale my buff potion image. Alright, perfect. And then I would need to add a few SFX sound effects, set the volume for the sound effects, maybe add specific channels as well. I won't do that right now, but I will be adding comments for them. Let me add a comment for lower SFX, and then I'll add another comment that says set volume for SFX, and maybe even channels. I'll go with SFX channels. Okay, with that out of the way, I would need a floor variable as well where my player stands. So let me go ahead and create a floor variable. I don't know if I have to like create a dedicated like comment for it. My floor variable honestly can go inside of my game variables because floor is considered a variable for my game. So I'll create a floor variable so that equal to pygame dot capitalize rect. Okay, and now I gotta give my x-axis, y-axis, width, and height. So what's my x-axis going to be? It's going to be something like 0. Y-axis is going to be around 500. Width is going to be my display's width, which is 1000, and height is going to be something like 300. Okay, did I spell my width variable correct? Let me add my display, copy that. Let me add that above my game variables. There. Okay, perfect. Next up, what else would I need? I'll need a win screen to show like when my player wins. So I'll go with win screen. And then I'll create a variable called win underscore screen underscore UI. I'll set that equal to pygame dot image dot load. And now I'll give the file path for my win screen image. So I'll go with game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by screens, 2 more forward slashes, win screen png. I don't know why it says png. I'm not going to be using this as a png, so I will convert it. I won't convert it to alpha. We only convert alphas for stuff like our small images, like the things that spawn in our screen. My win screen UI is going to be covering my entire display, if that made any sense. Then I'll add a font because I would want to add a text on my screen, like press R to reset if you win and everything. So I'll go with win text underscore font. I'll set that equal to pygame dot lowercase font dot capitalized font. Okay, my font type will be none. This is pygame's default font. The size is going to be 50. And then honestly, let me even transform my windscreen UI. So I'll go with windscreen underscore UI. I'll set that equal to pygame dot transform dot scale. I want to scale my windscreen UI. The size is going to be in a tuple, and the size will be my width variable and my height variable, which is 1000 by 650. And then I would need a game underscore 1 variable. I'll set that equal to, honestly, I might add my game 1 variable inside of my game class, so it's easier to reset everything and I wouldn't have to manually type everything out. So let me go ahead and create a class. So I'll create a class called game. So this is going to be my game class, and my game class will have a dungeon in it. So let me go ahead and define a dungeon in it constructor. It won't have any parameters, although I will create a few instance variable like self dot game underscore over equals to false because my game hasn't been over yet. And now let me do the same thing for my win screens, actually loose screen. So I'll go ahead and load my loose screen UI as well. So I'll go with loose underscore screen underscore UI. I'll set that equal to pygame dot image dot load, and then I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be my game item followed by 2 forward slashes followed by screens, 2 more forward slashes, my loose screen. And I will convert this. I won't convert it to alpha since this is not a PNG. Okay, and then let me scale my loose screen. To scale my loose screen, I'll go with loose screen UI. So that equal to pygame dot transform dot scale. I want to scale my loose screen UI. The size is going to be in a tuple, and the size will be my width comma height, which is my display's width and height. And then let me add a font for my loose screen as well. So I'll go with loose underscore text underscore font. I'll set that equal to pygame dot lowercase font dot capitalized font. My font type will be none. That's basically pygame's default font, and the size will be 50. Then let me create an instance variable which says self dot game underscore lost. I'll set that equal to false because I haven't lost yet. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and add a comment for score as well because I want to track my score. So I'll create a score comment and then a score variable, actually a score underscore text underscore font variable. I'll set that equal to pygame dot lowercase font dot capitalized font. My font type will be none, and the size is going to be 36. Okay, and now maybe I add a comment here that says game state. This is going to be my game state. Then a comment for score as well. These are going to be my score. This is going to be my score here that I would like to reset. So after I lose the game, or once my player hits R, I'll go with self.score. My score is going to be set to 0 by default. Self.score boolean instance variable is going to be set to false as well because my player hasn't scored yet. Okay, honestly, that's all that I can think of for now. Okay, now let's go ahead and add my actual classes. Although before I add my classes, let me go ahead and add another comment for my collision flag. Basically, what a collision flag is like if I collide with somebody, like for example, if I collided with my skeleton, it's gonna say collided with skeleton. The collision flag is set to true, else the collision flag is set to false. If that made any sense. So I'll go with self.skeleton underscore collision is going to be equal to false because I haven't collided with my skeleton yet. I'll go with self.dragon underscore collision. I'll set that equal to false as well because I haven't collided with my dragon yet. Okay, that's pretty much it. Next up, let me go ahead and create a move class. This is going to be a parent class that all my all my other classes are going to inherit from. For example, x-axis velocity, y-axis velocity. So let me start off by defining a dunder init constructor. My dunder init constructor will have a x-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be set to 0 by default, and a y-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be set to 0 by default as well. Okay, and then let me create a few instance variables. Self.x-axis velocity equals to x-axis underscore velocity. Self.y-axis underscore velocity equals to y-axis underscore velocity. Okay, honestly, that's pretty much it for my move class. Let me go ahead and create another parent class, which is going to be called game objects. My game object class will inherit from my move class. So basically, this is like a grandparent class. That's a parent class that inherit from is my parent class inherit from my parent's parent class. If that made any sense. Let me go ahead and define a dunder init constructor. Okay, now why did I like have a game object class? Basically, the reason I had a game object class is because I gotta have images, rects, and masks for all my images. The reason I'm having masks is because I'm going to be using pixel perfect collision. And that aside, let's see. The reason I actually create this class is because all my objects are going to have rects and images. So I wouldn't have to separately create rects and image instance variables for all my other PNGs. Okay, so for my game object class, I'll define a dunder init, and I'll need to add a few parameters. For example, a image parameter and a position parameter. The position parameter is going to be equal to 0 and 0 by default. Okay, I think the 0 will look good without any space. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and add a super dunder init. So super perf parentheses dot dunder init. Since I am inheriting from my move class, I'll have to add my move classes, attributes, and methods. I mean, just my parameters. So my move class has a x-axis underscore velocity that is going to be equal to x-axis underscore velocity. And I would have to add my x-axis underscore velocity here as well. And y-axis underscore velocity. Okay. And arguments always go before keyword arguments. So right here. Okay, and then let me go with a y-axis underscore velocity, which equals to y-axis underscore velocity. Okay, perfect. Alright, so I just had to add all the parameters of my move class, inside of my super dunder init. With that out of the way, let me go ahead and add a few instance variables like self.image, also that equal to, let's see, my image parameter, and then self.rect. My self.rect is going to be equal to my self.image, which is my image parameter, dot get underscore rect function, and inside of my function the position will be top left. That's going to be equal to a tuple of my position. Honestly, not a tuple of my position, just my position. Okay, and then I'll need a self.mask. My self.mask is going to be equal to pygame.mask dot from underscore surface. So maybe I fixed my spelling. There we go. Okay, from underscore surface. My surface will be my self.image. Alright, perfect. And honestly, I actually might add a few parameters or like a few methods as well. Methods inside of my game object class, like my automate method. Okay, for my, because all my NPCs will have a automate method. Okay. So for my automate method, let's see what else would I need. Okay, I'll go with self.x-axis underscore, actually self.rect.x-axis I'll increase my self.rect.x-axis by my self.x-axis underscore velocity. This basically automates my object, so my object is just going to be moving to the left. So let me change that to minus, actually to the right, so I change it to minus. And then let me actually work with my looping as well. Loop is basically if my enemy exists, my window, he spawns back in my window. So let me type that. I'll go with the if statement. If my self.rect.x-axis, if my enemy's x-axis is greater than 0, okay, I'll reset my self.rect.x-axis to be equal to 850. Okay. Honestly, I think this should be less than 0. Alright, that looks perfect. Okay, and my game objects class will have a draw method as well, because all my objects will need a draw method. So my draw method will have a parameter of surface, which is going to be equal to screen by default. And then let me go ahead and go with surface.blit. I want to blit my self.image and self.rect. Okay, honestly, that's pretty much it for my game objects class. Let me go ahead and create a class for my hero now. So I'll create a hero class. My hero class will inherit from my game object class, which is inheriting from my move class. Okay, let me go ahead and define a dunder init constructor. Now, what else parameters will my hero need? My hero would need a x-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to 5 pixels per frame. Y-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to 5 pixels per frame as well. A image parameter that is going to be equal to my hero image. Okay, and then what else? Let's see. My hero would need a jump strength parameter as well. Jump underscore strength parameter, which is going to be equal to -4 by default. And then let me go ahead and add a super parentheses dot dunder init. Okay, so I gotta add all the parameters from my game objects class, which is going to be image. That's going to be equal to my image parameter. Let's see, what else? X-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be equal to my x-axis underscore velocity parameter. Y-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be equal to my y-axis underscore velocity parameter. Position, which is going to be equal to my position parameter. I haven't created a position parameter yet, so let me do that. I'll create a position parameter, also that equal to a tuple, comma, Okay, it is going to be something like 100 by 300. Actually, 300 by 100. Okay, honestly, I feel 100 by 300 was correct. Okay, perfect. Now, let me go ahead and create an instance variable for my jump strength parameter here. Let me copy that and go with self.jumpStrength equals to jump strength. Okay, perfect. Now let me go ahead and create a move method for my hero. So I'll go ahead and define a move method. My move method will have a parameter of keys to it. Then I'll add a bunch of if statements, like if my keys at index of pygame dot k is right. If my right key is pressed, I will increase my self.rect.x-axis by my self.x-axis underscore velocity. And if my keys at index of pygame dot k is left, if my left key is pressed, I will decrease my self.rect.x-axis by my self.x-axis underscore velocity. And if my keys at index of pygame.k is space, if my spacebar is clicked, I'll set my maybe I keep that a colon. Okay, I set my self.y-axis underscore velocity to be equal to my self.jump strength. Okay, and then maybe I indent this. Okay, perfect. That's honestly pretty much it. That I pretty much everything that I would need for my whatchamacallit move method. I wouldn't need a draw method. I would need an apply gravity method. So let me go ahead and define a apply underscore gravity method. Okay, my apply gravity method won't have any parameters, although I will increase my self.y-axis underscore velocity, my player's y-axis velocity, by my gravity variable, and then I'll go. Excuse me, guys, and then I'll go with my self.rect.y-axis, my player's y-axis. I'll increase that by my self.y-axis underscore velocity. Okay, this basically stimulates gravity, so my player is going to be pulled downwards, but he's going to be pulled down forever. I need to add a landing for him. So let me work on the landing. Okay, for my landing, let's see. I could go with like a if statement. Let me go with if my self dot rect dot bottom, if my player's bottom is, let's see, greater than or equal to my floor dot y-axis, if my player's bottom is greater than. If my player's bottom is higher than or equal to my floor's x-axis, he's gonna land on my x-axis. Self.rect.bottom is going to be equal to floor.y-axis. Okay, that's basically it for my gravity. And then let me actually go ahead and reset my y-axis velocity as well. So I'll go with self.y-axis underscore velocity. I'll set that equal to 0. Okay, that's basically it for my hero class. Now let me go ahead and create a class for my skeleton. Actually capitalize skeleton. Okay, my skeleton class will inherit from my game object class as well. Then I'll go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. My dungeon init is going to be having a few parameters like x-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be equal to 5 pixels per frame, y-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be equal to 5 pixels per frame as well. And then I don't know what else. Let's see, maybe image is going to be equal to my skeleton image. Position is going to be equal to a tuple of 500 by 300. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a super parentheses dot dungeon init. Let me create a super dungeon init and add the parameters of my game object class. My game object class has an image parameter that is going to be equal to my image parameter. Then I need a x-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to my x-axis underscore velocity parameter, a y-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to my y-axis underscore velocity parameter, and a position parameter, which is going to be equal to my position parameter. Okay, I wouldn't need any instance variables, and honestly, I wouldn't need anything else because I already have the automate method inside of my game objects class. So let me go ahead and create a dragon class now. Okay, my dragon class will inherit from my game object class as well. So let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. My dungeon init constructor will have a few parameters like x-axis underscore velocity that is going to be equal to this time, let's say 6 pixels per frame. Y-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be equal to 6 pixels per frame as well. Image, which is going to be equal to my dragon image. Position, which is going to be equal to, I don't know, this time maybe I'll keep the x-axis. I'll keep x-axis the same. I'll just increase my y-axis, so 500 by 100. Okay, in a tuple. Position 500 by 100. Alright, perfect. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a super parentheses dot dungeon init, a super dungeon init. My super dungeon init will have all the parameters that my game objects class have. My game objects class had an image parameter. I'll set that equal to my dragon objects image parameter. My game objects class has an x-axis parameter, x-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to my x-axis underscore velocity parameter. A y-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to my y-axis underscore velocity parameter. A position parameter, which is going to be equal to my position parameter. Okay, honestly, that's pretty much it for my dragon class as well, because I would just need an automate method and a draw method. I already have that inside of my game objects class. The way am I audible? Okay, let me go ahead and create another class now. This time, what class would I create? I would need a drops class where like my coins and everything drops on my screen. So let me go ahead and create a drops class. My drops class will inherit from my game objects class. Okay, honestly, yeah, it would inherit from my game objects class. Let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor for my drops class. And now I wouldn't honestly need x-axis velocity and y-axis velocity for my drops class, although I would need a image parameter, which is going to be equal to, honestly, I'll keep that optional, change that later, and a position parameter, which is going to be equal to, let's say, none. Okay, because I want my position of my drops to be randomized. So since I'm going to be working with random stuff now, I guess it's about time I import the random module. Okay, and then scroll all the way down here. Okay, now a quick question for you guys. Do you guys think I should add a super dungeon init right now or like later? Okay, the answer is I should add it later since my position is set to none. First, I randomize the spawns of my coins. Okay, let's see. Let's add an if statement. If my position is none, if my position is set to none, which it is currently set to none, I'm going to reassign my position to be equal to a tuple of random.randint, okay, 50 comma my displays width minus 50. This basically means that my coins will spawn anywhere in my x-axis. Let me do the same thing for my y-axis as well. So random.randint 50 comma, this time instead of going with height, I'll go with my floor.y-axis. The reason I'm going with my floor.y-axis is if I went with height, my coins would spawn under my floor as well, but my player can't reach under my floor. So if I had floor.y-axis, my coins will spawn anywhere above my floor where my player can reach. So I'll go with floor.y-axis minus 50. Okay, perfect. Now outside my if statement, let me go ahead and add a super pair of parentheses dot dungeoninit. Okay, my super dungeoninit will have a few parameters. In fact, all the parameters from my game objects class. My game objects class did have a image parameter, so that to be my image from my drop class's parameter, and then a position parameter, which is going to be equal to my position parameter, a x-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to 0 since I don't want my coins to move, and a y-axis underscore velocity parameter, which is going to be equal to y-axis underscore velocity. Okay, perfect. This is honestly basically everything that I needed from my drop class as well. Okay, let me go ahead and create another class for my meals. This is going to be my meals class. So basically drop class, but for meals. Honestly, actually, I might not need to create a meals class because I can just use my drops class as my meals. That's okay. I wouldn't even have to create a potions class in that case. So let me go ahead and create my health bar class. Because basically I would need like a health bar. My health bar class won't inherit from my game objects class because I won't use the draw method from my objects class. Instead, I would create a separate draw method so the health bar is drawn above my player's object. And under my hero class, I actually might add a trap method as well, so I can trap my player in the window. Okay, so let me go ahead and define trap. Okay, the trap method won't have any parameters as well, although I will do something. Let's see. I'll go with my self.rect.x-axis, my player's x-axis, also that equal to max, which is going to be 0. My player can go less than 0, so my player's position is going to be stuck at 0. He can't go anything below that. And then let me go ahead and add min. Min is going to be my self.rect.x-axis, my player's current x-axis, okay. My player can go past my current x-axis. My displays width minus, let's see, minus my self.rect.width. Okay. This basically means that my player's, my min is going to be my player can go beyond his x-axis with minus self.width. So my player's box, my player object, his object can't exit the window as well. Let me do the same thing for y-axis. Self.rect.y-axis is going to be equal to max, which is going to be 0. My player can go less than 0. Min is going to be my self.rect.y-axis, comma, this time I'll go with, let's see, my player's height or my display's height variable. Honestly, I might go with my floor variable. Floor.y-axis minus self.rect.height. Okay. Okay, actually I do gotta go with height variable because my player can't even go on top, so height is here. Okay, that's basically it. Next up, let me go ahead and create my health class. My health bar class will be having a dungeon init, so let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. My dungeon init constructor will have a few parameters. Actually, just one parameter of max HP, which is going to be set to 100 by default. This basically means that if my player is his max HP is 100. Now let me create a few instance variables. Sub.max underscore HP is going to be equal to my max HP parameter, which is set to 100. My player would need a current HP, how much HP he currently has, so I'll go with self.current underscore HP, which is going to be equal to max HP because my player, when he starts the game, he is going to be having 100 HP. And then I gotta give my file path for my player. So let me go ahead and create a self.hp underscore path instance variable. This is going to be like a dictionary of all my health bar images. So for my 0 HP image, also that equal to pygame.image.load, I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be game item followed by 2 / followed by health bar, 2 more / my 0 HP PNG. And since it is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, add a comma, and to save time, let me copy this. Okay, go with Control C, paste it 5 times. That's 20 HP, that's 40 HP, that's 60 HP, that's 80 HP, and that's 100 HP. Now change the 0 to 20, 0 to 20, 0 to 40, 0 to 40, 0 to 60, 0 to 60, 0 to 80, 0 to 80, lastly 0 to 100. Okay, and 0 to 100. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and iterate over my dictionary. So I'll go with a for loop for every, I don't know, key in my self.hp path. Okay, I'll go with self.hp path at index of key. This basically gives me every individual key here. And now let me scale them. So I'll go with my scale function, self.hp path at index of key. Okay, perfect. Now that I scaled them, would my health class need any methods? My health class would need a take damage method, so my health bar takes damage, and a heal method, so my health bar could heal every time he collects the meat. So let me go ahead and define a take damage method. So take underscore damage. Okay, my take damage method will have a parameter of amount as well, the amount of damage he takes. Okay, so let me go ahead and add my self.current HP. I'll set that equal to max. Max is going to be 0, which means my current HP can go below 0. 0 is the max HP. I can't have negative HPs. And then I'll go with self.current underscore HP minus my amount. Okay, this basically means that what's my current HP when I take damage, when my player dot takes damage, my current HP can't go below 0, but his current HP does minus from the amount. Okay, and then let me go ahead and define a heal method. My heal method will have a amount parameter as well. How much HP did my player heal? I'll go with self.current HP, also that equal to, this time I'll go with min. Min is going to be 100. Which basically means my player's HP can go above 100. 100 is his max HP. And then self.current HP plus amount. He heals with the amount. Okay. That's basically it. So I would need a draw method as well. This is like a separate draw method from my game objects class. The draw method that my game objects class had, that was pretty basic. Draw method is just draw my object on the screen. The draw method I'm going to be having on my health bar class, that's going to specifically draw my health bar above my player's rect. So let's see. For my draw method, I'll go with a HP underscore key variable, also that equal to max, and go with a conditional expression. Now it's basically the same thing I did here. I iterate over all my HP paths, but I add a if statement as well. So let me go with for every k in my self.hp path. Now I'll add a if statement. If my k is less than or equal to my self.current HP, I return k. Okay, so basically what this means is like, for every k in my self.hp path means I iterate over my HP path and I get the individual HP, and if my individual HP k is my individual HP, like 80 HP, 100 HP, if that's less than or equal to my current HP, I create a image variable and set that equal to HP underscore key, okay, at index of actually self.hp at index of HP key. Okay, so basically my HP key changes every time I take damage. So every time I have 100 HP, my HP key is going to be 100 HP. Every time I have 80 HP, my HP key or my image is going to change to 80 HP PNG. Alright, now let me go ahead and create x-axis. I'll set my x-axis to be equal to, let's see, I want my x-axis to be above my hero's head, so I would have to create a few objects. Let me go ahead and add a comment here that says game objects. And why am I creating my game objects inside of my game class? Well, because eventually once my game ends, I want my player to reset everything. Like if my player hits R, it's going to restart everything, or when he wins, he hits R, it resets everything. If I didn't add a game class here and like start building my game logic that I gotta reset, when I need to add the let's see the reset logic, I might have a lot of typos and there is a lot of error chances there. Okay, when compared to we start adding it right now, because when I restart my game, I want my game over to be false, game lost to be false, score to be 0, score to be false. Okay, if that made any sense. It will eventually make sense, like when I like actually add the reset method in my game class. Okay, with that out of the way, let me go ahead and create a self.hero object, also that equal to my hero class. Okay, now my x-axis is gonna be my game object. Let me go ahead and create a game object that equals to my game class. Okay, so I'll go with my game object dot my hero object inside of my game class dot rect dot center x. This is basically the center of my hero object. I'll subtract that by my, let's see, my image dot get underscore width. I'll subtract that by the width of my image, then divided by 2. Okay, this basically gets it to the center of my player, so I'm pretty sure if I didn't have divided by 2, it would get it to like one side of my player. Okay, then let me go ahead and create a y-axis. I'll set that equal to my game.hero dot game.hero dot rect dot. This time, instead of center x, I'll go with top, because the center is the center of my player, which could be like his actual center width. I want to get it in the top because I want it above his head. If I went with game.hero.rect.bottom, it would go under his legs, the health bar. But I want it to be on top. Minus my image.get underscore height. I'll get the height of my image. I'll subtract that by negative 80. And this negative 80 is honestly just for visuals. You guys can't do trial and error. For example, negative 80 for my hero image is going to be exactly above his head. If you guys change it like positive 100, it's going to be like way higher than his head. Negative 100 way below his legs, if that made any sense. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a surface.blit. I want to blit my image. The position is going to be in a tuple of my x-axis and y-axis. Okay, my draw method will have a surface parameter, which is going to be set to screen by default. And honestly, a hero underscore rect parameter as well, which is going to be equal to none. Okay. Alright, so this is basically all the parameters that I need for my health bar class. So what else do I need? I would need, let's see. Since I have a drop class, I wouldn't have to draw my muse, I wouldn't have to draw my coin image, I wouldn't have to draw, let's see, my health bar as well. Okay, my buff potions as well. Let me create those classes. So I'll create a class for my meat. I'll go with self.meat. I'll set that equal to a list of my drops class. Okay, the reason I set it to a list of my drops class is because, let's see, I don't want one meat to spawn, I want multiple meats to spawn, so I'm going to be using this to spawn multiple meats. My image is going to be my meat underscore image. Let me go ahead and create a class for my buff underscore pots. Okay, my buff potions is going to be equal to a list of my drops class. Okay, and my buff pot image. Excuse me guys, then let me go ahead and create a class for, let's see, my coins, my gold coins. I might just go with coins. Okay, coins is going to be equal to a list of my drops class again. And the image is going to be my coins image. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and create a self.skeleton object as well, which is going to be equal to my skeleton class. And then a self.dragon object, which is going to be equal to my dragon class. Okay, perfect. Honestly, I might need a if you like drop details as well. So let me create a comment that says drop details. So for my drop details, basically I'm going to be drop details are like if I go with self dot coin underscore drop underscore time, this basically checks the number of times, or like, let's see, how do I phrase it? Okay, it basically starts counting when my drop spawned. Like for example, my drop spawned at this exact time, so after some more time spawn that drop again. So for that I'd need the time module because I'm going to be keeping a track of time. So let me go ahead and import the time module. Okay, now let me go all the way down. So self.coin underscore drop time is going to be my time module dot the time function. Okay, basically the time.time function, it's like it keeps track of that exact time until like all the other times. Honestly, I should like learn more deeply inside the time module. It seems like a pretty good module. Okay, and then I'll add a drop time for my meat as well. Go with self.meat underscore drop underscore time. That is going to be equal to my time module dot my time function. Okay, let's see what else. I'll go with self dot my buff underscore potion underscore drop underscore time. Okay, buff potion drop time, also that equal to time dot time as well. Okay, that's basically it. Now let me go all the way up here. Under my score, I'll add a few drop delays. So I mean, honestly, I could add my drop delays inside of my game class, but that wouldn't like make a big difference or change anything. So I could just add it here. Let me go with self dot coin underscore drop underscore delay. I'll set that equal to 4 seconds. I want my coins to drop every 4 seconds. Let me add one for my meat as well. Self dot meat underscore drop underscore delay. My meat drop delay is going to be 14 seconds. I'm going to be getting one meat every 14 seconds. And for buff potion, I'll go with serve.buff underscore pot underscore drop underscore delay. Also, that equal to something like 20 seconds. I'll get a buff potion once every 20 seconds. Okay, that's pretty much it for my classes that I added. Okay. Alright, let me go ahead and create a health bar class now. So I'll go with self.healthBar. Health underscore bar class. My health bar class is going to be equal, actually a health bar object. I'll set that equal to my health bar class. Alright, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and create a class for my buff bar. Buff bar is basically going to be when my player collides with a buff potion, he gets an additional green HP bar above his red health bar, which is going to be called buff bar. Buff bar will be lasting for 5 seconds. So let me go ahead and create a buff bar class. Okay, my buff bar class won't inherit from my game objects as well, since I would need this exact draw method inside of my buff bar as well. So it draws above my player's rect. Okay, my buff bar class will have a dungeon init constructor method. Let me zoom in a bit more. Okay, and my buff bar class's dungeon init will have a max underscore buff parameter as well, which is going to be 100 by default. This is exactly the same as my max HP, which is set to 100. I just kept this as max buff. You guys could name it something like max underscore buff underscore HP set to 100. Okay, let me just check if I'm audible. Okay, let me check if my Twitch stream's going good. Alright, perfect. Let me check my cake, guys. I gotta make sure that my stream's going good. Okay, perfect. Am I like... Okay, I was for a second, I was like, I'm not audible. Okay, never mind. Alright, so for my buff bar class, let's see what else would I need for my buff bar class. I would need a few instance variable like self dot max underscore buff. My max buff is going to be equal to my max buff parameter here, which is set to 100. A self dot current buff current underscore buff. How much buff would my player have when he spawns in the game? My player will have 0 buff if he spawns in the game. I'll even need a self dot active boolean variable, which basically tells me the buff is active. Currently my buff is not active, or when my player enters the game his buff won't be active. I would need a self dot buff underscore time. This is basically going to be like the time dot time as well, so I'm going to track when my buff started and then I'll like subtract that with what my buff is going to end. This is going to be my time dot time module. Okay, time module dot time function. Okay, and then let me go ahead and create my self dot buff underscore path. This is going to be exactly the same as my self dot HP path. I just named this as buff path. These are going to be the specific buff images that I'm going to be having. Like 0 buff image is going to be my 0 image, if that makes any sense. So 0 is going to be equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be my game items, followed by 2 forward slashes, followed by buff bar, 2 more forward slashes, my 0 HP buff bar. Since it is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. Okay, and then I comma. And maybe to save time, I'll copy this, paste it 5 times. That's 20 buff, 40 buff, 60 buff, 80 buff, and 100 buff. Now let me just change the 0 to 20, 0 to 20, 0 to 40, 0 to 40, 0 to 60, 0 to 60, 0 to 80, 0 to 80, lastly 0 to 100. There we go, and 0 to 100. Okay, perfect. Next up, exactly what I did with my HP bar. I gotta iterate over my buff bar, so I'll go with for every key in my self.buff. Okay, self.buff bar. I'll go with buff underscore path. Okay, I'll scale my buff path. I'll go with my self.buff path. Okay, at index of key. This basically gives me every key's value of my buff path, which is 0 is going to be this image, 20 is going to be that image. Okay, and this isn't going to be, actually that is going to be index, right? This is going to be buff underscore path. There we go. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my self.buff underscore path at index of key. Okay, perfect. That's basically it for scaling my buff path and loading them and adding a few instance variables. What all methods would my buff bar need? My buff bar would need a activate buff method to check if my buff is activated or like when to activate my buff. So let me go ahead and define a activate underscore buff method. Okay, now a quick question for you guys. Would the activate buff method need a amount? Yep, it would need a amount. So basically what the amount is going to do is basically I want to activate my buff and give my buff this much HP. So let's see what goes inside my activate buff amount. When my buff is activated, my self.current buff, which was initially set to 0, is going to be equal to my amount. Okay, whatever my amount is. If my amount is 20, it's going to give it 20 buff. If it's 40, it's going to give it 40 buff. If it's 100, it's going to give it 100 buff. And then self.activate, which was initially set to false, this boolean variable is going to be set to true. Now since my buff is active, okay, or since I activated my buff, so for self dot buff time, would that still be equal to time dot time? Okay, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't need that yet. Honestly, I think it wouldn't even hurt to add it here. Sub.buff underscore time equals to time module dot the time function. Alright, what all parameters, what all methods would my buff bar need? My buff bar might need a take underscore damage parameter, which is going to be having a take underscore damage method with a amount parameter. How much amount does the buff bar takes? Now let me add a if statement. If self.activate, if my self.activate is set to true, that's when my buff bar will take damage. Let's see. I'll go with self.current buff, my current HP, which is going to be equal to my amount here. I'll go with max. Max is going to be 0. My buff bar's HP can go below 0. Okay, and then I'll go with self.current buff minus amount. Alright, perfect. And then maybe let me add another if statement. If my self.current buff is less than or equal to 0, if my current buff's HP or if my buff bar's HP is less than or equal to 0, I'll set my self.activate to be equal to false. My buff bar is no longer activated. Okay, honestly, that's like pretty much it, right? Yeah, that looks pretty much it. Let me go ahead and define a draw method as well. And can you guys guess what all parameters will my draw method have? It's going to be having a surface parameter, which is going to be set to screen by default. And it's going to be having a hero underscore rect parameter, which is going to be equal to none for now. Okay, it's the exact same as my HP bar, but what all... Okay, so what goes inside of my draw method? I would need to find my buff key, exactly what I did right here. I gotta iterate over my buff bar, but with a max function. So let me go with my self.currentBuff, or actually I'm self.currentBuff, buff underscore key, my specific key in my buff bar, that's going to be equal to max, and then a conditional expression for every key in my self.buff path. Okay, if statement, if my key is less than or equal to 0, actually my key is less than or equal to my self.currentBuff, I return key. Okay, perfect. And for my health bar, did I keep 0? Okay, no mind. Okay, let's do that. Okay, next up, if this happens, I'm gonna go with my image. I'll set that equal to self.buffPath at index of key. Okay, so basically what my entire conditional expression here, it means is for every... This is going to be buff key. Okay, what this means, it says for every k in my self.buff path, that gives me every individual key from here. And unlike what I did here I like scaled it up, so this is basically going to be my scaled buff. Okay, if my key is less than or equal to my self.currentBuff, okay, my current buff could be like 20, 40, 60, 80. If my key is either 20, either 40, either 60, either 80, either 100, or either 0, that's just basically it. It's just my K is going to be changing. Like if I have 20 HP, if I took like 20 damage, my initial current, if my current HP is 20, actually it's 100 and I took 20 damage, my HP is going to be 80. So less than or equal to is used there. If my HP is less than or equal to 80, now I'm going to return K, which is going to be my image self.buffPath at index of buff key. Okay, and then let me go ahead and create an x-axis. I'll set my x-axis to be equal to, let's see. Okay, so my game object dot my hero object dot rect dot x actually dot center x. This is going to be equal. This is basically my hero center. I'll subtract that by my image dot get underscore width by my image's width, and then I'll divide that by 2. So that's basically the center of my player. And then let me go with y-axis. My y-axis is going to be equal to my game.hero.rect.top. This time it's the top of my player. Since if I went with bottom, it would spawn on my player's like leg area, like under my player's leg. Since it's top, this is going to be at the top of my player. I'll subtract that by my image.get underscore height. And I'll subtract that by, this time I'll go with -50, which is going to be a little higher than my HP bar, which was set to -80. So -80 is like here, -50 is going to be about right there. Okay, and then let me lastly go with a surface.blit. I want to blit my image. The position is going to be in a tuple of my x-axis and y-axis. Alright, now let me go ahead and create a self.buff underscore bar object, also that equal to my buffer class. Okay, perfect. Alright, so that's basically all that I needed for my classes. Now after classes, what else would I need? I would have to create my main game loop. So let me go ahead and create my game loop. For my game loop, I'll create a is underscore running boolean variable. I'll set the boolean variable to be equal to true, and then I add a while loop. So while is underscore running, while my program is running or while my is running is set to true, I'll do something. Let me go ahead and create a keys variable. So that equal to pygame.key.get underscore pressed. This basically checks if any of my key is getting pressed on my keyboard, and the specific keys I looked inside of my hero classes. Let's see, inside of my hero classes move method, if keys had index of pygame.keys, right, I do all this, and that's the reason my hero class needs a keys parameter. which basically is my keys variable here. And maybe I'll go with a, let's see, surf screen.blit. I'll blit my screen with a good blue color. Since I don't remember the RGB code for the screen.blit, I mean my RGB code for my blue, I will copy it from here. I could like go online and check in an RGB picker's website, although I feel this saves a lot of time. Okay, so I'll go with screen.fill. Okay, this is going to fill my screen with a good blue color. What else would I need? Let's think. I would need to find collisions, so like if my player collided with any of my objects. So let's go ahead and do that first. First up, let me add a collision detection for hero, and let's go with NPCs. So this is going to be a collision detection for my hero and NPCs. So I'll go ahead and define a collision underscore detector function. My collision detector function will have a few parameters. For example, my hero's parameter, okay, and then my NPC's parameter, or let me just go with enemy's parameter. And the next one is optional. I'll go with enemy underscore name. So like enemy's name, that will be a string if like I want to add a f string inside of my collision variable that says exactly with which NPC I collided with. Lastly, a collision underscore flag. Basically what a collision flag is, it's like it's this part of my game class code. If I haven't collided with anyone, my dot skeleton underscore collision is going to be equal to false, but if I collided with a skeleton, this is going to switch to true. Okay, after that, since I am going to be using pixel perfect collision, I will need offset. So let me go ahead and create a offset x and offset y. So offset underscore x-axis is going to be equal to, let's see, my game object dot my hero object. Honestly, I need to go with my enemy first. So my enemy object dot rect dot x-axis. So my enemy's x-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect dot x-axis. Okay, that's basically it for my offset x. Now let me go ahead and create a offset y. My offset y is going to be equal to my enemy parameter dot rect dot y-axis. Okay, my enemy's y-axis minus my game object dot my hero object dot rect dot y-axis. Okay, that's basically it for offsets. Now let me go ahead and create an overlap variable, which is going to be used to see if my hero object overlaps with my enemy object or with my NPC. So let me go ahead and create an overlap variable. Also that equal to my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot mask. This is where we're going to be using the mask that we created in our game object's parent class. Dot overlap my enemy dot mask at the given offset, which is going to be in a tuple of offset underscore x-axis and offset underscore y-axis. So what this whole thing basically means is like if my hero object's mask overlaps with my enemy object's mask at this given offset, that is going to be considered as a overlap. Now let's add a if statement. If a overlap did happen, and if not collision flag, if my collision flag is set to true, which it is currently set to false here, I'll do something. Let's see, let me go ahead and print, boom, collided with add a pair of curly parentheses, go with my enemy underscore name parameter, and then let me change this to an f string. Let me convert this to an f string. So boom, collided with the enemy. This enemy parameter is going to be up there. Okay, if I did collide with the enemy, I will go ahead and return true. Okay, else I will return false. Okay, now let's go ahead and get my health bar to take damage if I did collide with a enemy. Before that, I could add a damage parameter here as well, which is going to be equal to 20 by default. Now, before I let my health bar take damage, if I have a buff bar, so if buff bar is active, buff bar takes damage. So if my buff bar is active, let my buff bar take damage first. To do that, I'm going to be adding an if condition. If my game dot buff bar object dot activate, if my buff bar is activated, then I'll go with my game dot buff bar dot take damage and my damage parameter, which is set to 20 by default. Okay, then let me add another if statement here. If although this if statement is just to be safe, I already have a if statement under my buff bar that says under my buff bars take damage if my self.current buff is less than or equal to 0. Self.activate is going to be set to false, so my buff bar won't take damage. But just to be safe, I'll run that again. If my game dot buff bar object dot current buff, if my current buff is less than or equal to 0, current buff basically means my health bars, my buff bars HP is less than or equal to 0, game dot buff bar dot current buff game dot buff bar dot activate, my activate boolean variable is going to be equal to false. Okay, perfect. Okay, now let me go ahead and add a else clause as well. Okay, I'll go with else my health bar takes damage. My this else actually should most likely go outside my if. There we go. Okay, else I'll go with game dot health bar dot take underscore damage method, and my damage is going to be my damage variable, which is set to 20 by default. Okay, and then I'll add another if statement here. So if my if my game dot health bar dot current HP is less than or equal to 0, if my health bar's current HP is either less than 0 or equal to 0, I'll set my game dot game underscore lost to be equal to true. Okay, honestly that's pretty much it, and game dot game underscore lost is in my game states section in my game class, which is currently set to true because I haven't lost yet. Okay, that's basically it for my collision detection flag. And just for some just for some neatness, I might add this outside of my while loop. I could like leave it inside, it's the same thing. Okay, now let me go ahead and add my game dot skeleton collision, my collision flag. So this is my collision flag. I'll set that equal to invoke my collision detector function. Now fill in the parameters. So my hero parameter is going to be my game dot hero object. My enemy parameter is going to be my game dot skeleton object, since this is my skeleton's collision. And then for my collision flag is going to be this boolean variable right here, game dot skeleton collision. Okay, I wouldn't need to add a damage parameter since my damage is set to 20 and I want my skeleton's damage to be 20. Okay, I need to add an enemy name as well. So this is optional, but let me add a string of my enemy name. My enemy name is going to be a skeleton. There. Okay, if you guys can see that. Next up, let me do that exact same thing for my dragon class. So I'll go with, actually not dragon class, my dragon collision flag. So I'll go with game.dragon underscore collision. I'll set that equal to invoke my collision detector function. Fill in the parameters. The first parameter that I need is my hero. So hero is going to be my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object. My enemy is going to be my game.dragon object. My enemy name is going to be a string, which is going to be dragon. Lastly, my collision flag is going to be my game.dragon boolean variable here. Okay, perfect. That's basically it for my player and NPC collision. Let me go ahead and let's see, what else do I need to add? Okay, now let me go ahead and add a collision for my hero and coins, or hero and drops. My first drop is going to be my coins. So let me add a comment that says collision detector or detection for hero and coin. Okay, this is going to be my hero and coin, so like basically the coin image that I had. So I wouldn't honestly define a function here because I am going to have different collision logics for different objects. Like few objects give me buff, few objects give me let's see, health, and few objects give me score. My hero and coin collision is going to give me score. So since I am going to be creating pixel perfect collision, what you guys think I need to add? What are the 2 variables that I need, or honestly 3 different variables, important variables that I need for pixel perfect collision? Okay, it is going to be offset underscore x-axis, which is going to be equal to, let's see, my game.coin object. And actually, since my coin object is a list, let me iterate over it, because inside of my game class, my coin object is a list right here. Is in a list, so it's equal to a list. So let me iterate over it first. So I'll go with for every coin in my game.coins. Okay, I'll create offset. So offset underscore x-axis is going to be equal to my coin.rect.x-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect dot x-axis. And then I'll have to create offset y. Let me just go with a bunch of control C's. Okay, so offset underscore y-axis is going to be equal to my coin dot rect dot y-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect dot y-axis. Okay, perfect. And then I will need to create a overlap variable to see if my hero object overlapped / collided with my coin object. So I'll create an overlap variable. I'll set my overlap variable to be equal to, let's see, my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot mask. So if my hero's mask dot overlaps with my coin dot mask at the given offset of offset underscore x-axis and offset underscore y-axis, it is going to be considered a collision. So if my hero's mask overlaps with my coin's mask at this given offset, it's going to be considered a offset. Now let's add a if statement. If overlap, it's going to be considered a overlap. So if it is a overlap or overlap did happen, I'll be doing a bunch of stuff, like I'll go with my game object dot my score instance variable inside of my game object. I'll increase that by 1. Okay, and then I'll go with my game dot scored boolean variable to be equal to true because I did score. And then I'll go with, let's see, my game object dot my coins objects list dot remove. I'll remove my coin object. Okay, and since I am removing stuff here, when I iterate over it, I'll add index of colon. Basically, what our index of colon does is it, let's see, it duplicates everything inside of my list so I can safely remove stuff. Okay, let me go with a else my game object dot my score boolean variable is going to be equal to false. So if I didn't collide, if I haven't overlapped with them yet, so I didn't score yet, so it's going to be set to false. Okay, that's basically it for the collision detection logic for my player and coin. Now let's work on the spawning logic for my collision detection and for my coins. Let me add a comment that says spawn coin logic or spawn coin logic. Okay, so to spawn my coin, I'll add an if statement if my time module dot the time function minus my game dot coin drop time. My coin drop time was initially set to time dot time. So when my coin drops, that time dot time records when my coin was dropped. And if I subtract that with my time dot time, and if that is let's see, if that is less than my game dot drop time delay, okay, game dot coin drop delay, was it greater than if my time dot time minus my game dot drop time is greater than? Oh, it is greater than. Okay, so can you run so that we can see the progress? Honestly, if I run right now, it won't like show anything because I gotta add a bunch more stuff. Honestly, let me actually do that though. Okay, let me just add the final finishing because I gotta add my graphics as well and draw the players in the screen and then go with like pygame.display.flip. So let me do that. Okay, before that, let me just complete this part. So if time.time minus game drop time is greater than or equal to game dot coin drop time, I'm gonna go with my game dot coins object dot append. I wanna append my drops class. Okay, perfect. And then let me reassign my game drop time copy that. Game.coinDropTime to be equal to my time.time. Okay. Coins.append drop class. Okay, I'm pretty sure the drop class was correct. Let me check. Okay, unused statement imports this. Shadow from keys. Alright, I'll check that in a bit. Let me go ahead and add a event loop real quick. So event loop is basically gonna be the stuff that let's see. That's gonna like check my canceling event when I run the command, because if I run the command right now, I won't be able to cancel it because like there's nothing showing because I didn't draw anything on my screen, neither did update, so I can't even cancel it. Okay, drop init missing one required argument position of image. This is going to be my coin image. Okay, so let me go ahead and add my event loop. Okay, so in my event loop, let me iterate over all my Pygame events. I'll go with for every event in my pygame.event.get. This basically gets all my Pygame events, but I'm looking for a specific type of event. So I'll go with if by event.type equals to pygame dot quit. I'll set my is underscore running boolean variable to be equal to false. Okay, and then let me add FPS, or my game is gonna go really quick. So let me go with a clock.tick, my clock variable dot the tick function, my FPS variable. Okay, and then let me add a pygame.display.flip. This basically updates my display, although pygame.display.update would work the same as pygame.display.flip. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a pygame.quit, which exits my pygame. But what if I want to exit my entire Python program? I'll go with sys.exit. Okay, perfect. Now, above my event loop, but under my coin-spawn logic, let me go ahead and add my graphics. Graphics is basically all the players and animations that's drawn on my screen, so I'll go with graphics. So what all graphics do I need? So let me go ahead and draw my player first. So I'll go with my game object dot my hero object dot the draw method that's going to draw my hero, and then I'll go with skeleton. So honestly, I might add gravity to my player as well. So game dot hero dot gravity that applies gravity. Let me go with game dot hero dot trap. This traps my player in the window, and now let me go ahead and draw my skeleton. My game object dot the skeleton object, which is inside of my game object dot draw, that draws my skeleton, and then my game object dot my dragon object. Okay, dot the draw method. Alright, this is honestly pretty much it. Although let me draw my coins as well. Although to draw my coins, let me iterate over it. So I'll go for every coin in my game.coins. Okay. I'll go with coin.draw. Okay, and then let me draw my health bars. So I'll go with game.healthbar.draw. Okay, I won't draw my buff bar yet. This is honestly everything that I'd need, right? Okay, now if I run the command. Okay, there's my player. I didn't draw my floor. Let me go ahead and draw my floor. So I'll go with pygame.draw.rect. My floor is going to be a rectangle. Okay, the surface is going to be my screen. The color is going to be, let me check the RGB color for floor because I don't have it memorized. Right there, let me copy that. Okay, and paste it here. Lastly, let me go with my floor. Okay, so this is going to draw my floor. Okay, there's my floor. I gotta decrease the size of my, coins. Let me go all the way up here where I loaded my images. Okay, my coins image is gonna be 0.05, which is smaller than my skeleton image, dragon image, and my hero image. Meat image is gonna be 0.05 as well. Okay, that's gonna be 0.05 as well. Although, why are they frozen? Let's see. Okay, so they look frozen. What could the reason be? I honestly know why are they frozen. I did this exact same mistake like yesterday. Okay, skeleton class is going to be 350. That's going to get my skeleton a bit lower. There we go. Okay, let's see. Let me go to my game objects classes automate method. Let me change that to greater than 0. Okay, so if my self.rect.x-axis is less than 0, okay, hero object, that looks correct. Does my gravity work? Okay, my player is frozen for some reason. Am I running the correct command? I mean the correct file. Did I import anything else? Okay, didn't import anything. Okay, my health bar class. Okay, why is my player frozen though? He should like be falling down. Added my collision detection. Did I blade everything correct? For every coin, overlap, coin increases, that part's correct. Okay, I drew my hero, applied gravity. Oh, I didn't even add my, okay wait, I didn't add my, whatchamacallit, game objects. No wonder they weren't moving. Alright, hold up guys, let me go ahead and add my game objects. There we go. Okay, so I'll go with game.hero.bMove method. This is how my player would be able to move. Okay, my move method will have a parameter of keys to it. Then game.skeleton.automate, that's going to automate my skeleton. Let me go ahead and add a game.dragon.automate, that's going to automate my dragon. Let me get my trap and gravity inside here. There we go. Now if I run the command. There we go. Now they're moving. Okay, my player is falling way too slow. Let's fix that too. Let me go all the way up to my player class. Okay, so under my hero class, self.x-axis velocity equals to 0. Okay. Self.rect.x-axis increases by my gravity. Yo, hiding hypertech, I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, self.y-axis velocity, that equals to my jump strength, which is set to -4. Okay, what happens if I jump? My player does go up. Okay, he's kind of locked up there. My player does go in front, back 5 pixels, but he falls down really slow. So let's fix that. Okay, what all reasons could it be that my player falls really slow? Let's see. Self.y-axis velocity increases by my gravity, then my self.y-axis increases by that. Okay. Trap. Let me change that to something like -100. Okay, that's gonna get my player like higher. Okay, let's see. Okay, HP path. Did I blit my... Oh, okay, when I blit my player's HP, right here, my health bar, I gotta go with my hero _rect, the, whatchamacallit, the quark there, the keyword argument there, and add my game.hero.rect. Okay, now run the command. Okay, the HP bar should fall. Guys, what even is... why doesn't the collision part works well? Did I add like a wrong method to my player? Hero.move, hero.apply gravity, hero.trap. Okay, hero.draw. Okay, that's my coin spawn logic. I'm pretty sure I didn't need that though. Okay. Okay, let's see. If I collided with the enemy, my health bar takes damage. Okay, firstly, why does my hero fall really slow? Let's fix that first. Okay, let's see. That's take damage. Okay, it should be in my hero class's move method. He moves properly. Okay, it should be, something should be wrong with this. So, if my keys are index of ballgame.k space with my spacebar, press self.y-axis velocity. is going to be equal to jump strength. My jump strength currently is -4. What if I change it to like -9? Okay, his position is up. I want his position to be down. Okay, let's wait him to come down real quick. Okay, if he goes down, he spawns back up. So it's definitely my spawn logic. My landing logic. Duh. Okay. Okay, it's my landing logic. Let's go with greater than. I mean less than. Okay, now he's down. Although he cannot jump. Okay, if my self.rec.bottom, my player's bottom is, I'm pretty sure it should be greater than or equal to my floor.y-axis. Self.rec.bottom equals to my floor.y-axis, and then it reset this part's correct. Okay, my dragon works perfect. Maybe, pretty sure it's not my game objects class, right? Okay, move class, game objects class has the automate method. This is going to be loop for the automate. The loop works, draw works. Okay, let's see. Alright, so for my game.here.move keys, so that lets my player move. My player can move. It's the apply gravity and the jump. Although why can't I like jump? I can jump, but I like get stuck up here. Okay, maybe I drink some water, guys, to jog my memory. Alright, so I am running my current file. So it's this file's my coin spawned perfectly. Let me check if my coin collision works. Okay, it's just something with my hero object that he can't touch anything. Let's see. Take damage, activate buff. It's not that. Okay, so the way I draw my hero object, I don't have a draw method in here. My hero object has x-axis velocity, y-axis velocity, which is set to 5 and 5. Okay, hero underscore image, position, jump strength, super dungeon init, x-axis velocity, y-axis velocity, position, self.jump strength equals to jump strength. Excuse me, guys. Self.x-axis velocity is going to be equal to my jump strength, which is -9. Then I apply gravity. Okay, if my self.x-axis underscore velocity, okay, my self.x-axis underscore velocity increases by my gravity, which is set to 0.5. Self.rec.y-axis, my player's y-axis, increases by my self.y-axis underscore velocity. For my landing, I go with if my self.rec.bottom, if my player's bottom is greater than or equal to my floor.y-axis. Bro, do you know what internet scrapping is? It was given to us as a project, but I have no clue. Honestly, I don't have any clue either. Let me actually ask Sensei. Sensei, do you know what internet scrapping is? Question mark. Okay, that's what you'll be doing with your broken code if you keep getting distracted. The word scrapping, not scraping. Okay, and yes, I know what it is. Listen carefully. Web scrapping. Am I like pronouncing it correct, guys? Is when you write a program that goes to websites, grabs the raw HTML and extracts specific data from it. For example, pulling products, prices, headlines, or stuff off a page automatically instead of manually copying them. You usually use libraries like request to fetch the page and beautiful soup or LXML to phrase and extract the data, but there's a rule of war. Not every site wants you scraping the data. Some have protection, some block spots, okay, some even make it illegal depending on their terms. Always check before charging in. Okay, I honestly don't understand much about it. That aside, let me get inside there, go with the control C. Okay, honestly, define trap. It could be this, it honestly could be this. That's y-axis. What if I go with like without a trap method? Let me go ahead and actually remove a trap method. I won't remove it from here. I'll just go under my player right here. Okay, let me just remove the trap method and see. Now there's nothing trapping my player. Okay, he is stuck up there. That is the x-axis. Oh, can I like... Okay. Alright, let me get Sensei here again. Paste it, add a bunch of spaces, say Sensei. This feels a little messed up. My hero isn't moving properly. Okay, your hero refuses to move because you botched the movement logic. Okay, don't blame the code, blame yourself for not hurting the bug down. Let me slice it open for you. In your hero.move method, you set self.x-axis velocity to be equal to self.jump strength every time space is pressed. That means if hero jumps infinitely as long as space is held. Okay, I see. On horizontal movement, right/left, you're moving fine, but gravity keeps pushing the hero down because always adds down velocity. You don't need to reset unless touching the floor. That's why he feels messed up. That's in your health bar to draw. You're overriding hero's position. Okay, by mistake, every frame the hero top is being reset to some nonsense value. Okay, fixing strategy. Remove that cursed assignment in health bar dot draw. Y-axis. That's to like draw my health bar. Okay, let me honestly, instead of checking this, go to my reference code. Okay, and under, let's see. For my health bar, okay, I go with x-axis, y-axis. This part is correct. My heal was correct as well. Okay. For my hero object, I have applied gravity. That's perfect as well. Then jump strength equals to jump strength. Added that as well. Okay. Honestly, this does look pretty correct. I don't like see a difference between this code and the code that I wrote. Okay, so hero.draw, but above that, under my game objects, hero.move, hero.apply gravity, hero.trap, skeleton, and dragon.automate. I honestly did add these. Okay, so under my under my hero object, let me check. So if I were to go under my hero object, there we go. Okay, so for my move method has a keys parameter. X-axis and y-axis works perfectly, but for my keys at index, so let me go to my object class here. Okay, my keys at index of pygame.strength equals to my self.jump strength, which is set to -5. Huh. Yeah, -9 is actually a lot. Okay, what about my landing? Okay, if my self.rect.bottom is greater than or equal to my floor.y-axis, self.rect.bottom equal to floor.y-axis. Okay, and then I reset my y-axis velocity. Okay, this part is correct as well. Okay, in that case, why does he drop down so slow? Like, what could it be? When he drops down, his position resets up. Could it be that the floor object is right here? Okay, what are the parameters for my floor object here? Okay, it's 0, 500, width, and 300. What is the parameters for my floor object here? 0, 500, width, 300. Okay, so he's right there, but he falls down slowly. And the collision doesn't even happen, although the collision logic should be perfect. The coin spawn, the dragon's move is just my hero object. Okay, let's see. Okay, I have a move class. My move class has a x-axis velocity and y-axis velocity. Okay. Parameters are correct. Okay, so when he falls down, what code do I use to see if he falls down? Apply gravity is to pull him down. The apply gravity honestly pulls him down, but then it doesn't pull him fast enough. Okay, compared to like my other codes where like, again, am I not that? Did I like change variable names? Line 385. Skeleton sound. Okay, I definitely changed the name of that.
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Okay, here he like falls down. Okay, so the difference between those codes could be, let's see. It could be that. Okay, my hero class does have a move method, and then a trap method as well. My gravity was set to 0.5. Okay, if my self.reg.bottom is greater than or equal to my floor.y-axis, I did set it to be my floor.y-axis. Self.reg.bottom is my player's bottom. What is the rect position that I added here? Self.rect.get underscore rect. Okay, self.rect equals to self.image.get underscore rect. Position is top left. Just set to my position. That is my position. Okay, I guess let me go ahead and control C again. Get Sensei here. Okay, maybe go to this Sensei's chat, paste it, add a bunch of space and say, Sensei, why does my player fall so slowly? Question mark. I spelled slowly wrong. Vivek, your hero falls like a feather because your gravity is too damn low. Isn't my gravity always supposed to be 0.5 and your jump strength is -5? That means every frame your hero only gets pulled 0.5 at 60 FPS. That's baby gravity. It'll take over to... Okay. I mean, honestly, what if I like go to Discord, go to Control A, Control C? Oh, I canceled Sensei by mistake. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me paste this, add a bunch of space and say Sensei. Although, for this code, my gravity is 0.5 and players jump underscore strength is -5 as well, but he falls perfectly. Okay, now you're seeing the truth, Vivek. The reason it feels different is in this code is because of how you're updating velocity and position. Let's break it down like warriors dissecting an enemy. In this code, define apply gravity. Okay, each frame gravity adds to velocity. Each frame of gravity adds to velocity. That velocity is added to position. Even 0.5 gravity stacks first frame, second frame, third frame. Excuse me, guys. This means hero accelerates downwards like real gravity. So even though 0.5 looks small, it compounds every frame until the fall feels natural. Okay, compare that to your early test code. Okay, you probably had something like rect.y-axis equals to gravity. That's constant speed, not acceleration. Okay, the hero would drift down. The hero would drift down gently forever at 0.5 pixels per frame, which feels floaty and weak. Why -5 as jump strength here when you press? Okay. Okay, let me say. So, say, why didn't it work with my first code? Okay, good question, Vivek. And the answer cuts like a blade. Your first code didn't work because you skipped the most important part of physics, velocity. And you basically did something like rect increases by gravity. Isn't that what we should have done? I did that. The self.y-axis underscore velocity. I didn't do rect.y-axis. I went with self.y-axis underscore velocity. That increases by my self.rect dot. That increases by my gravity. My gravity is set to 0.5, right? It is set to 0.5. Okay, is my hero object like... okay, it is a specific this thing. Okay, my y-axis velocity increases by my gravity, which is 0.5. So every frame is going to increase by my gravity. Self.rect.y y-axis is going to increase by my self.y-axis underscore velocity. Okay, so my player's y-axis increases by my y-axis velocity, which increases by gravity, that is 0.5. So my player gets faster every time he falls down. Okay. Honestly, this should be correct, right? Okay, what happens if I go with a Control A, go to my Discord, go with the Control A, Control V. Okay, my player still falls down, like so slow. And once he touches the floor, he spawns back up. I have a flip, I have my FPS, I have my event loop. Okay. Let me actually get my event loop up there and try. I mean, it shouldn't honestly make a difference, but let me just try getting my event loop. Copy that, delete that from here. Let me go to a bunch of Control Z's. There we go. Okay, what happens if I get my event loop up here? There. So I have a pygame.display.flip. This honestly wouldn't flip anything much. There we go. Okay, let me copy the two of these, delete this from here. And paste them here. Okay, did I draw them properly? Okay, game.hero.move. That's keys. Game.hero.apply gravity. Game.hero.trap. Trap my player. Apply gravity on my player. Okay. Let me go to my drops class here. Okay, that is called image. Okay, self.hero equals to my hero class. Did that. Okay, there we go. So I draw my hero. Okay. Game.skeleton, I draw my skeleton, draw my dragon, and then under my game underscore objects. Don't I like have a game objects there? Okay, there we go. I go with hero.move, hero.apply gravity, hero.trap. Okay, I moved my hero, I applied gravity to my hero, and I trapped my hero. Alright, so what does it like? Would it like make a difference if I like maybe zoomed out a bit? Copied my hero class, game objects class, and move class. Okay, what happens if I like paste that up here? Would it change something? There we go. Okay, let me paste it. Now I found the command. My player like still falls down slowly, so my classes weren't wrong. Okay, let me go with Control C. Okay, my classes aren't wrong. Then what's wrong? Why does my player fall slow? Pretty sure it's not my collision detection. Okay, let me just remove my collision detection for now to just see if it makes a difference. I'm pretty sure it won't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Okay, what if I change my gravity to be... let's go with 15. Okay, he falls really quick. Why does he spawn above my health bar though? Okay, I actually think I might know where I messed up in that case, because he's apparently his spawn is my health bar. Game.healthbar.draw. There. And my hero.draw is just gonna draw my hero. What is the surface of my... Let me go to my health bar class. Honestly, before I go to my health bar class, let me just remove my health bar class from here. Okay, now if I run the command. Okay, now my player falls, but when I lower my health bar, that's when I do something wrong in here. My player can even collect coins, he can even collide. Okay, so my health bar class was messing something up. Let me draw my health bar again, so I'll go with game.healthbar.draw. I won't add any parameters to it. Okay, why does my player spawn off my health bar? Something is probably wrong in my health bar class. Okay, so let's go to my health bar class. There we go. Okay, now surface.bled image x-axis y-axis. Oh, this should be minus. There we go. Now let me add a hero underscore rect, which is going to be equal to my game.hero.rect. Okay, there we go. Now it works. Alright, that was a pretty silly typo. That aside, okay, now my player works perfectly. I can like collect coins. I gotta like dodge the NPCs. If my health bar goes like my HP can go below 0. Let's see what happens if it does. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm just gonna be stuck with 0 HP. Okay. Alright, perfect. So my health bar logic was messed up. I mean, instead of adding a subtraction, I added a equal to by mistake. Okay. Now what else should I add? I should probably add a win condition and a lose condition as well. If my player wins, I blit my win screen UI. If my player loses, I blit my lose screen UI. So under my collision detection function, okay, I'm gonna add a win/lose logic. Let me go ahead and add a comment that says win/lose logic. For my for my win/lose logic, let me work on my win logic first. Let me add an if statement. If my game.score, my game object.myScore variable is greater than or equal to 10, if my score is greater than or equal to 10, I'll set my game.game_1 variable. Do I have a game.game_1 variable in my game state? One is over, one is lost. Let me change that to game.game1. There, so my game.game_1 boolean instance variable is going to be set to true because I won the game because I got 10 gold coins. Then let me add a if game.game_1. If I did win my game, I'm going to go with a screen.blitz. I'll blitz something to my screen. I'll blitz my win screen UI. Okay, let me change that to dot. Okay, I'll blitz my win screen UI at the given depth of 0 and 0. Okay, and then I would want to render a text on my screen as well that says you won, plus press R to play again. So let me do that. I'll create a new variable called win_text. I'll set my win_text to be equal to my win text font variable that I created like a while ago. I'll add the dot render function. So basically what the dot render function does, it like renders my text to the actual window. So what text do I want to render? Let me render a text. My text is going to be something like you won exclamation mark. You won. Okay, press R to play again. And my entalysis is going to be set to true. And lastly, let's see. My color is going to be black. Now let me blitz my win text to my screen. So I'll go with screen.blitz. I want to blitz my win text, win_text at the given depth of 250 by 40. Okay, and the 250 by 40 is just for visuals as well. You guys can like play with this number and like change it to be wherever you guys want the text to be. Okay, and then let me add for a game.game_lost. If I lost the game, if my game_lost is set to true, which is going to be set to true if my game.healthbar.current HP is less than or equal to 0. Okay, I'll do something. I'll go with screen.blitz. I want to blitz my lose screen UI at the given depth of 0, 0. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a lose_text variable, so that equals to my lose text font dot the render function. Okay, I'll render a text. My text is going to be something like you lost exclamation. Press R to restart. Okay, and then my entalysis is going to be set to true. And lastly, my color is going to be black. Okay, now let me blitz my loose text to my screen. So I'll go with screen.blitz. I want to blitz my loose text. Okay, at the given depth of, let's see, 250 by 40. Okay, perfect. Let me add a else as well. Else, add a comment that says regular game loop. So basically what this means is if my if statement hasn't, like if I didn't win my game, then I check, let me go with an else if here, I check if I lost the game. If I didn't lose my game as well, if I didn't win or lose my game, I play my regular game. So let me indent everything inside of my else statement or else clause. There we go. Okay. Where's my main game loop? Should be up there. Okay, my main game loop is up there. Perfect. Alright, so let's try to win the game real quick. Let me try getting 10 gold coins. Honestly, I should first blitz like my scores. So instead, let me just try to lose my game first. Excuse me, guys. Okay, let's try to lose. Gotta get hit once more. There we go. I lost. Press R to restart. The same thing would happen if I win. Let me change this to 1. Okay, now let me go ahead and collect a coin. Bop, it says you won. Press R to play again. Okay, although if I press R, nothing happens because I didn't add that logic yet. I will add that momentarily. That aside, let me go 10. Okay, now that I added my coin spawn logic and my coin collision logic, let me go ahead and add another collision logic for my player and my meat. So I'll go with collision detection for player or for hero and meet. Okay. Okay, and again, what do we need for, what are the variables for pixel perfect collision? Because that's what I'm going to be using. Although before I use it, if you guys like, see in my player class, my meets class, my meets instance variable is equal to a list. So I would have to iterate over my meets variable first before I actually add my offsets. And yeah, offsets are the variable that we need for collision, pixel perfect collision. So let me go with a for loop. For every meet in my game object dot meet instance variable. Okay. Honestly, I'll go with that index of 0 as well, because what the index of 0 does is it duplicates everything inside of my list of meets. The reason I'm duplicating stuff is because I would have to like remove those stuff, and it's safer to remove stuff once you like duplicate them. Okay, that aside, let me go ahead and create offset. So offset underscore x-axis is going to be equal to, let's see, I'll go with my meet dot rect dot x-axis, my meets x-axis minus my game object dot my heat object inside of my game object dot rect dot x-axis. And then for my offset underscore y-axis, I'll set that equal to my meet dot rect dot y-axis, my meets y-axis minus my game dot hero dot rect dot y-axis. Okay, and then let me add a overlap variable. For the overlap variable, I'll go with my game object dot my heat object inside of my game object dot mask dot overlap with my, let's see, meet dot mask at the given offset, which is going to be inside of a tuple, and my offset will be my offset underscore x variable and offset underscore y variable. So basically what this means is if my hero's mask overlaps with my meet's mask at this offset, at this given offset, it's going to be considered a overlap. Let me add a if statement. If a overlap did happen, I'm going to do something. Let's see. First thing that I would do is I would heal my player's health. So I'll go with my game object dot my health bar object inside of my game object dot the heal method. I want to heal 20 HP every time I collide with a meet. Okay, and then let's see. I would go with my game object dot my meets object, my meets list inside of my game object dot the remove function. I want to remove my meets. Okay, that's basically it for my collision detection for hero and meets. Now let me add a spawning logic so my meets could also spawn on my screen. For that, I'll add a comment that says spawn logic for, let's see, let me just web that, spawn logic for meets. Okay, I guess I'll go with plural meets. Okay, for my spawn logic, let me add a if statement. So if my time module dot my time function minus basically the time module, the time function, it counts the exact time right now. If that time minus my let's see, minus my game object dot my meet drop time inside of my game class, my meet drop time was set to time. So whenever my meet drops, it's gonna have a specific time. If that specific time minus my time module, my current time, is greater than 5 seconds, actually not 5 seconds, my game object dot my meet drop delay, my meet drop delay is set to, I forgot how many seconds, I think it was set to around like 14 seconds. My meet is going to drop once every 14 seconds. Okay, if it's greater than my meet drop delay, I'm going to be dropping my meets. So I'll go with meets, my game dot meets, game object dot my meets object inside of my game object dot append. I want to append my drops class. Okay, there, and the image in my drops class is going to be my meet image. Okay, meets game.meets.append my drops class, my meet image. Did I like type that correct? Okay, it's drop class, not drops. There we go. I had a small typo. And then I'll reassign my game.meet.drop time to be equal to my time module.myTime function. Okay, that's basically it for my meets. Let me go ahead and draw my meet on my screen as well. So under where I drew my coins, I'll go with another for loop for my meets. For every meet in my game object dot my meets list, inside of my game object, I'll go with my meet dot draw. Okay, now if I run the command, file not found, no game slash. Wait, what game am I running? File not found, no file game slash sfx slash zombie found working directory. Line 49. Did I add the wrong file name? Line 49. Right there. Okay, windscreen. Da, da, da. Okay, let me go to my meet image. Did I load the correct image? Game items.meals.meet png. I converted my meet png. I'm pretty sure I ran the wrong file. Line 6, modulate. This is game 4. Why am I getting an error from a different Python file? Let me go with the control A, delete that. Okay, game 4 again. Import drops. Did I import something inside of my... I'm pretty sure I imported something. Okay, let me go all the way up. There we go, I knew it. I imported game 4 from drops. Okay, with that out of the way, let me go ahead and run the command now. Okay, now a meat spawns, and every time I collect that meat, I recover 20 HP. Okay, let me wait for another meat to spawn. Maybe try dodging the enemies while I wait for the meat to spawn. There we go. I'm currently 60 HP, now I'm 80 HP, or the meat logic works. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add my potion logic. This is going to be a little more different from my meat logic and my, meat spawn logic and coin spawn logic, so meat and coin logic. That aside, let me go ahead and add a comment that says collision detection for hero and buff potion. Okay, so what all do we need for collision detection? And before that, let's see if our potion is inside of a list, because I'm going to be spawning my potions as well. So our buff pots is inside of a list as well. So let's go ahead and draw that. Okay, so let me iterate over my buff potions first. For every pot, or I could go with pot. For every pot in my in my game object dot buff pots object inside of my game object, I'll create offsets because we need offsets for pixel perfect collision. Offset underscore x-axis is going to be my pot dot rect dot x-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect dot x-axis. Okay, I'll do the same thing for my offset underscore y-axis. I'll set that equal to pot dot rect dot y-axis minus my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object dot rect dot y-axis. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and create a overlap. Overlap is basically when my hero overlaps or collides with my potion object on the screen. So let me go with my game object dot my hero object dot mask dot overlap. Okay, with my with my pot dot mask at the given offset, which is going to be inside of a tuple. My offset will be my offset underscore x-axis and offset underscore y-axis. So basically what this means is if my game.hero.mask, if my hero's mask overlaps with my pot's mask at the given offset of offset x and offset y, is going to be considered a overlap. Let me add a if statement that says if a overlap did happen, if overlap is set to true, I'll do something. Okay, I'll set my game.buffbar.activate. I activate my buff bar, the amount is going to be set to 100 because I want to give 100 HP to my buff bar, and my amount is going to be equal to my current buff. So my current buff is going to be set to 100, and then I'll go with my game object dot my buff pot or my buff pots list dot remove. I want to remove my pot. And since I am removing stuff from here, it is going to be safe to add index of colon that duplicates all the items inside of my list. Okay, that's honestly pretty much it for drawing for the collision detection. Next up, let me add a spawn logic for my buff pot. So let me go with buff pot or buff potion spawn, or just let me go with spawn logic for buff potion. Spawn logic for buff potion. There we go. Okay, so for the spawn logic, I'll go with if my time.time, which is basically my current Python time, minus my game object dot my buff potion drop time, which is equal to time.time. So basically, my buff potion drop time is going to count the time when my potion dropped. If that time minus my current Python time is greater than my game object dot my buff pot time delay. Okay, my buff pot's time delay, which is set to 20 seconds. So if my potion dropped and 20 seconds has passed, I'm going to spawn another potion on the screen. I'll go with game dot buff pots. Okay, dot append. I want to append my drop class. My drop class will have the image of my buff pot image. There we go. Okay, and then I will reassign my game dot buff potion underscore drop time to be equal to time module dot the time function. Now let me go ahead and draw my buff potion. Although if I draw my buff potion exactly like how I drew my my health bar, my buff potion will always be seen above my player's head even if it has 0 HP. I want it to be seen only if my buff is activated, so I'll add a if statement here. Maybe under my game.health bar. So if my game object dot my buff bar dot activate, if my buff bar is activated, if that is set to true, firstly I'll update my buff bar. So I'll go with game dot buff bar dot my update method. Didn't I add like the update method to my buff bar? Pretty sure I forgot to add it. There we go, I didn't add a update method. So let me go ahead and add a update method. Let me define update. Update basically tells my buff bar that it's been time, like it's been 5 seconds and to despawn now. Okay, my update method won't have any parameters, although I'll go with a if statement. If my let's see, if my activate time, actually if my time.time minus my game.buff delay, or if my activate time is actually if my buff time, if my self.buff time is greater than or equal to 5 seconds, okay, I go with self.current buff, I set that equal to 0. And just to be safe, I'll go with self.activate, I'll set that equal to 0 as well. I'm pretty sure this is all I had to do for my buff bar's update condition, right? Okay, if self.activate and time.time minus self.buff time. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, so if self.activate, okay, if my buff is activated, and in a tuple, I'll go with time.time, my current time minus self.buff time. Oh, okay, I see how this makes sense right now, because my buff time, I did set it to time.time. So whenever my buff is activated, my self.buff time is going to be recorded. So if my self.activate and time.time minus self.buff time is greater than or equal to 5 seconds, okay, I set my self.activate to be equal to false. My buff is no longer activated after 5 seconds. Okay, actually I think it should be less than or equal to. I mean, I'll stick with greater than. Okay, that aside, let me go down here. Dot update. Let me update my buff bar first and then go with game dot buff bar. Okay, dot draw. Alright, now if I run the command. I don't have a buff bar currently, but after a buff potion spawns, let me just try playing a little. Okay, after a buff potion spawns, whoops, lost some HP. Did I just claim a buff potion? Guys, the buff potion spawned on me. Okay, after 5 seconds, it just passes. Let me wait for the buff potion to spawn again. I'll honestly just be sky camping here where they like can't touch me. Maybe I should go up there. Pretty sure won't be able to touch me. Okay, let me wait for a buff potion to spawn. Okay, I should probably decrease the time for it to spawn. Maybe I eat some meats to recover. Did it again spawn on me? That can't be a coincidence twice, guys. There is no way that's a coincidence twice. Okay, game.buffbar.activate. Okay, I want to draw it at hero underscore rect, which is going to be equal to my game.hero.rect. Okay. Oh, no wonder, guys. I didn't spawn my buff potion. I mean, I didn't draw my buff potion. I just drew my buff bars. So, for every pot in my game.buffpots, okay, I want to draw my pot. Pot.draw. There we go. Now I can see my buff pot. So my buff pot was on the screen, but I couldn't see it because I didn't draw it. There we go. It's right here. If I drink my buff potion and I collide with the enemy, my buff potion takes damage. Okay, although it does disappear after 5 seconds and my player takes damage. Alright, perfect. Okay, what else would I need? Let's think. What else do I need to add? Let me firstly fix a few visuals. For example, my player can go completely back or can come completely in front. He can't even like stand on the floor properly, so I could like fix those visuals. And when he goes up, he can go fully up as well. So first let me fix the bottom so my player can like stand on the floor. To do that, I'll go to my player class. Okay, my hero class. And under my hero class, let's see. Where I added the floor condition, that is in my gravity, right? Apply gravity. There we go. I'll increase this by 20 studs. Or I don't think it's called studs, guys. I'll increase it by 20 pixels. So now my player is going to be 20 pixels lower. There we go. Okay. And the reason I'm taking 2 HP damage is because my skeleton is above me, like he's way higher than I am, so I think it considers like he gives me like 2 damage, or like he deals 2 damage to me. Okay, most likely because my health bar isn't like stable, the PNG, like right now it's there, so I take 1 HP, but now it changed a little, so I take HP twice. There. To fix that, I should go under my skeleton class. Okay, right there. Change his position to be something like 400. There we go. Now I'll take 1 HP damage. Maybe I go with 408, so he like actually looks like he's standing on the floor. There, that looks much better. Maybe 405. Okay, that's perfect. Alright, and maybe I get my dragon a little higher. So I'll change that to 150. Okay, x-axis, y-axis, I'll change that to 50. There. Now I can't sky camp as well. Okay, did I take 1 damage or... Okay, perfect. What if I wanted to add like another, whatchamacallit, like another NPC coming from the center, so I can't even camp in the center like this. Like I could just do this and like survive the whole match. That would be fun actually. I might increase the speed to be like 7 pixels per frame, so the dragon is like actually pretty fast. Maybe 8 pixels per frame. Okay, let's see. There we go, dragon is fast now. Okay, and then let me actually go ahead and let's see. Let me load a object. I'll load a, let's see, a boss underscore image. My boss underscore image is going to be equal to, let's see, pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path of my image. The file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by npcs, 2 more forward slashes, my boss png, and I will convert it to alpha since it is a png. Okay, there we go. Now let me scale my boss png. So I'll go here and type my boss underscore image. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my boss underscore image. Okay, let me go ahead and honestly, I don't think that I have to create a specific class for my boss, but since I did it for my dragon and skeleton, I didn't even need like a specific class for my dragon and skeleton since they all just need an automate method. I could save a lot of time doing that, but I want to like be a little neat. So let me go ahead and create a boss class. So I'll create a class for boss. My boss class will inherit from my game objects class. Okay, then let me go ahead and define a dunder init constructor. My dunder init constructor will have a few parameters such as x-axis underscore velocity. My boss's x-axis is going to be like 7 pixels per frame. Y-axis underscore velocity, which is going to be equal to 7 pixels per frame as well. Image is going to be equal to my boss image. Boss's position is going to be equal to slightly above my skeleton's position. Skeleton is at 405, so my boss is going to be around, let's see, about 500. Okay. In a tuple, I'll go with 500 by 500. Okay. And then let me go ahead and add a super pair of parentheses dot dunder init. Let me add a super dunder init. My super dunder init will have all the parameters that my game objects class have. My game objects class has an image parameter which is going to be equal to my boss image, and then a x-axis underscore velocity parameter which is going to be equal to my x-axis underscore velocity parameter that is set to 7 pixels per frame. Y-axis underscore velocity parameter which is going to be equal to y-axis underscore velocity parameter which is set to 7 pixels per frame as well. And lastly, position, which is set to my position parameter. That's set to 500 and 500. Alright, that's pretty much it. Now, inside of my game class, let me go ahead and create a self.boss object. Let me create a self.boss object, which is going to be equal to my boss class. Okay, and then let me add a collision flag as well. Let me go with self.boss underscore collision. I'll set that equal to false because I haven't collided with my boss PNG yet. Okay, and then add the item inside my collision detector as well. So I'll go with game dot boss collision detection. Okay, I'll set that equal to invoke my collision detector function. Okay, inside of my function, I'll need a few parameters like heroes parameter, enemies parameter, enemy name, and collision flag. My heroes parameter is gonna be my game object dot my hero object inside of my game object. My enemy parameter is gonna be my game object dot my boss object inside of my hero. Inside of my game object, my enemy name is gonna be boss. Lastly, my collision flag is gonna be my game dot boss collision. Okay, perfect. That's basically it. Now let's go ahead and automate my boss. So under my game objects, let me go and add a game dot my boss object dot the automate method. And now let's draw my boss. I'll go with game dot my boss object dot draw. Okay, perfect. If I run the command, be able to see my boss right now. Okay, can't see him. Game.boss.draw. Okay, his position is definitely wrong. Let me change his position so I can like see him. There. 500 by 500. I'll go with 500 by 50. Actually, I'll go with 500 by 100. He's gonna be right there. There we go. I want to get him a little lower. So maybe I go with 500 by 200. And I might decrease his size as well. Okay, this definitely makes it a little harder to play. I might ask Sensei on how to like randomize their these things, like either like the boss spawns or like one of them should spawn. I want to randomize where they spawn from. Okay, this definitely does make it more challenging. Whoops, there we go. Okay. Guys, I'm actually almost... No! Okay. That definitely did make it a little more challenging. Although, let me just decrease the boss size. He's like too big. Okay, the factor is going to be 0.08. Let's see. He should... Okay, there we go. He's relatively smaller now. So I could get him a bit lower. Okay, let me go here. Under my boss class. I'll get him a little lower, so like 250. Now from the command. There we go. Okay, now let me go with a control A, control C, get Sensei here. Okay, let me paste it, add a bunch of space and say, Sensei. So, I made this game, although, excuse me guys, although I want, let's see. Although I want to randomize which NPC spawns, like everyone spawns at once. I wanna have like a 30% chance for a NPC to spawn, if that made any sense. Okay. Vivek, I see your code. It's a warzone of NPCs, all spawning at once. Chaos. You want controlled chaos like dice rolls. Dicing, okay, which enemy enters the battlefield. That makes sense. Let me break it down so your brain doesn't explode. Random spawn location. Right now you're doing this. Skeleton, okay, that means they always exit, no randomness. Okay, what do you actually want? Each frame or at spawn intervals, roll a dice. Example, skeleton spawns only if random number is 0.03, which is 30%. How to do it? Define spawns. So we create a spawn class. Chance equals to random dot random. Okay, random dot random gives a float between 0 and 1. Okay, if chance is less than 0.3, okay, if chance is 0.6, I see. Else if chance is 0.9, 90%. Oh, I see. Okay. Else nothing spawns. Okay, if you want, then in your game loop, if time.time minus self.enemy spawn time. Oh, so this is a random function, not a class. Is greater than self.enemy underscore spawn delay. Okay, where's my spawn delay? New enemy equals spawn delay. If new enemy, enemies dot append. Okay. For enemy and enemies, enemy dot update, enemy dot drop. This way, skeleton has 30% chance. Okay. Okay, let me say, Sensei. What did you mean by the spawn delay? I don't have a enemy spawn delay. And also, can you like explain it again? Guys, I kind of feel like I didn't understand. Let me check my stream going good on Twitch and Kick. Okay, Twitch stream's going good. Let me check on Kick. Okay, Kick stream's going good as well. Last let me check on YouTube. Alright, perfect. Maybe let me just lubricate my loops. Okay, you don't have an enemy spawn delay yet, but listen carefully because this is a core mechanic in real games. Without it, your random spawn code would dump a new enemy every single frame, meaning 60 times per chaos. Okay, chaos unplayable. What spawn time means? It's cooldown timer, okay, between spawns. Oh, I see. Although I don't want it like attack. Mm. Okay, that means after you spawn. Excuse me, guys. Okay, I honestly think I understand. Mm. Okay, I honestly feel like I understand this part. Alright, I actually don't understand much, so let me just try doing it myself. Okay, so under my let's see, under my win screen, loose screen, score underscore text underscore font. Okay, maybe let me drink some water. Okay, let's see. I wanna like fix that random spawns, but to do that, I gotta do something. The exact underscore velocity, that's my automate. Okay, under my player class, where I go with my move method, my trap method, okay. Okay, my enemy class's move method. Basically my automate method, which is right under my game objects class. Okay, that is true. Okay, I might add the random.random here. So there are 3 objects. If it's set to 3, one of they spawn. If it's set to, okay, if random.random is equal to 0.1, 10%, that spawns. Okay. Oh, I honestly see how it works. I actually see how it works. Let me go back to Sensei's code. Okay, so for this, I'll have to go with a function that says spawn enemy. Okay. Okay, maybe I add the function somewhere under my game loop. Okay, actually, before my game loop, let me go ahead and add a comment that says spawn enemy randomly function. Okay, so I'll define a spawn underscore enemy. Wait, that is a class. You can make enemies spawn just like you did for drops. Oh, okay, I think I see. Okay, so honestly, my spawn enemy function, let me copy that, delete that from here. That could honestly go inside my game objects class. I randomly spawn my game objects. Okay, let me create. Okay, my spawn enemy function would have any parameters. Although I will check a few things. I'll create a chance variable so that equal to random.random. Okay, that basically gives me a floating point number between 0 and 1. Okay, if chance is less than 3. Okay, if chance is greater than 3, return skeleton. Return skeleton class. Okay. Self.skeleton class, self.dragon class, self.boss class. Replace it with self.enemies. Now in your loop for every enemy and enemy.draw, enemy.automate. Okay, check collision with hero here. Okay, so if my chance is greater than 0.3, I go with skeleton class. If my chance is greater than 0.6, I go with, let's see, my boss class. Okay. Lastly, if my chance is greater than 0.9, I go with my dragon class. Okay, there we go. And now I go all the way down to my game class. I replace the 3 of these. Actually, let me remove my boss class from here. Okay, go with self dot enemies equals to a list. Okay. Enemy updates now in your loop for every enemy and enemy. Collision with hero. Check here. Okay. Let me go with collision with hero. Check here. Enemy.draw, enemy.automate, game. Okay, let me add a for loop here. Let me go down. Right there. Actually, there. I'll go with for every enemy in my game.enemies. I indent all this inside. Instead of game.skeleton, I'll go with enemy. Okay, I'll change that to dragon. Okay, actually that should be enemy. Can I go with like if enemy.type? Okay, enemy. If enemy.type equals to dragon class, I wouldn't need all of this in that case. And I wouldn't need my enemy name then. There we go. Okay, and I can remove my enemy. Remove that. Boom, collided. Go with the control Z maybe. Okay, delete the F string. Okay. And then all the way down here, I'll go with enemy.automate. Actually, let me iterate over my list of enemies again. For every enemy in my enemies, in my game object.myenemies object. Okay, I'll go with enemy.draw and enemy.automate. Okay, perfect. I'll copy the same thing here. Honestly, I wouldn't want to like draw my enemy. I'll just automate them. And now I'll copy that, go up here, paste it. Instead of automate, I'll go with draw. There, what happens if I run the command? Okay, I don't see an enemy. Huh. Oh, I didn't add spawn logic for my enemy. Let me just go ahead and add my spawn logic for enemy. Okay, I'll go with spawn logic for enemy. Okay, Let me go right under my game class, under my drop details. Let me go with the self dot enemy dot spawn underscore time. Also that equal to time dot time. Maybe add a comment that says enemy spawn details. Okay. If self dot enemy underscore spawn. Okay, I should learn to spell spawn correctly every time. There. That's self dot enemy spawn delay. Enemy spawn delay equals to 2 seconds. Enemy spawns every 2 seconds. Okay. Honestly, enemy spawn delay could be if the enemy exits the window. Okay, let's see. Let me iterate over my enemies here for the enemy and my self dot enemies. There, I could change enemy to something else like enemy. Okay, that's a typo for every. Honestly, I feel enemy is correct. I should be able to use it. There, I'll go with self dot spawn time equals to. Okay. If enemy if enemy dot rect dot x-axis, if my enemy's x-axis is let's see, if my enemy's x-axis is greater than, actually is less than 0. Okay, if my enemy's x-axis is less than 0, I do something. Enemy dot rect dot x-axis equals to 850. Okay, that's basically enemy's spawn. This is the enemy's spawn time delay. Okay. Enemy spawn delay. The enemy spawn delay. Okay, maybe this shouldn't be called enemy spawn delay. Let's go with enemy equals to enemy spawn delay. Actually, enemy spawn delay equals to enemy. There we go. Why does it show me a yellow underline? Okay. Shadow name enemy from outer scope. I don't want to get it from outer scope. Do I have like an enemy here? Oh, there is a spawn enemy logic here. Okay. I mean, I think it's gonna be fine. Okay, enemy spawn logic. If time dot time minus let's see game dot enemy spawn time is greater than enemy spawn delay. Game dot enemy spawn delay. Don't I have a enemy spawn delay here? I did add the variable, right? Okay, I guess I copy this. Let me go all the way up here to my game variables. Paste it. Equals. Fine, I'll go with like 1 second. Actually 3 seconds. Okay is greater than my enemy spawn delay. I'll do something. Let's see. Let's go with my game dot enemies list dot append. Okay, I append my classes. So I append my skeleton class. Honestly, let me go ahead and append my spawn logic. I defined a spawn logic, right? My spawn logic comes under my game objects class. Okay, let me go with game underscore object dot spawn enemy. Okay, let's see. Skeleton class. Wait, it shouldn't have any parameters. Does it have a parameter here? It doesn't have a parameter. Should I go with chance? Spawn enemy. Okay, chance is going to be random dot random. Spawn enemy. Why does it ask me for an object? I don't need to add an object. Okay, maybe let me go in a tuple and add my skeleton object. Okay, dragon object. And let's see. Pass object. It's the same thing if I keep them as to be my NPC object. Maybe I don't go with anything inside. Okay. That basically spawns my enemy. I don't know, I'll just go with skeleton object for now. Wait, what object? Should this be my game objects class? Can I use chance? Okay, I'll go with skeleton class. Now if I run the command, it should get my skeleton class. Attribute error, none type, no attribute automate. What if I change this to my game object class? The game object class needs parameters. Okay, maybe I go with Control A, Control Z. Let's say here. Paste it at a bunch of spaces. Let's say I feel like I messed up. Okay, let's see. Oh, Vivek, look at this mess. Calm down. We need to untangle this chaos because right now your enemy spawn is broken beyond recognition. Let me walk you through the disaster in your code. Spawn enemy is not working. Problem 1, you created the enemy object but you never returned it. Okay, or added to a list. Oh, I got a return. Okay, append. What even is this? You're calling spawn enemy for an instance. Skeleton. Okay. New enemy equals to spawn enemy. If new enemy. Okay, enemy spawn timer. Good idea, but it only works if the spawn function returns properly. Game.enemy spawn time equals to time.time collision. Okay. So let's say, can I actually see the reference code? Okay, let's see. So I import time, import random. Okay. Maybe where it goes it by code question mark and a bunch of spaces, paste it here. outside the game objects class. Okay, replace your broken code with this. Okay. So this is like a separate class. Let's see. Let me go to my game objects class. Okay, let me go to my game objects class right here. Remove my spawn enemies randomly and add that maybe under my game loop. Actually, before my game loop. Right here. Okay. Replace your broken code in the loop. That's reset timer. Let me copy that. Okay, let's see what happens if I paste that right here. There we go for the spawn logic. I need to know what does dunder name mean. Okay, what happens when we run the command now? Huh. Okay, enemy just randomly spawned. Two skeletons randomly spawned. Do I collide? Oh my. I'm still colliding, guys. Okay, that aside. Hold up, let me maybe dodge these skeletons. Okay, it's like just dragon spawn. Hold up, skeleton spawn as well. Can't have a boss spawning. No. Okay, I have like infinite collision detections here. Okay, if a new enemy spawns, I want the old enemy to despawn. What happens if I add this with my collision detection right here? Okay, my collision detection is kind of wrong here. Okay, let me remove the collision detection. Alright, let's see. Maybe a skeleton's gonna spawn. Okay, now my boss spawns. Okay, a dragon spawns as well. Wait, I don't collide with them? I did remove my collision detection, so I don't collide with them. Okay, guys, this is getting way too... I gotta add a deal damage method as well, so that I could deal damage to them. Okay, getting a little chaotic. How is a real person even going to even play this? It's like maybe my player stays up there, shoots enemies from the top. I win, but then I just collected coins. Alright, I'm real lazy to type it, so I might just copy that from my reference code here. I do got asked and say, what does the dunder name do? Let me go under my game loop. Okay, and then under my collision detection, that's collision detection, and then inside of my game loop, where did I add my collision detection? This thing, I can like literally type it, but then I feel this is gonna save so much more time. There we go. Let me copy that. Get that there. Maybe indent, paste it there. I think I should just type it. Okay, so let me go with game dot skeleton collision. Also, that equal to invoke my collision detector function. Fill any parameters. So game dot hero, game dot skeleton. Okay, this is going to be my game dot enemies. Let me go with for every enemy in my enemies in my game dot enemies. Okay, I indent this. Instead of skeleton, I go with enemy. There, that's going to be my regular enemy, not game dot enemy. Okay, I won't need an enemy name. Let me go with the collision flag, which is going to be my game collision. Paste it there. Okay, now I run the command. I wait for someone to spawn. I take 1 damage, that's perfect. There. Okay, that was a lot of damage. How did I take that much damage? Let me run the command again. I don't want to drink the potion. Alright, so wait, hold up. Let me try taking a damage again. Is it just my potion that takes 1 HP damage? Okay, hold up. Ta-ta-ta. Okay, my buff bar takes 1 HP damage, although my regular health bar takes a lot of damage. Return true, return false. Okay, buff bar dot damage, else health bar dot damage. Okay, I want 1 damage per collision. Let's go with the control. A control C gets, let's say here. Okay, paste it. Had a bunch of spaces. Let's say my buff bar takes damage once, but my health bar takes a lot of damage. Alright, let's see. I see exactly what's happening here, Vivek. Your buff bar logic is a little sloppy, and your health bar logic is getting hammered because your collision flanks aren't tracking. Why your buff bar only take damage once? No, it doesn't take damage once. Okay, here's the disaster. You're overriding the same collision detection. Skeleton collision detection. Flag for every flag in your list. So after the first enemy triggers collision, it allows the next enemy to hit your health bar repeatedly. How to fix collision detection. Buff bar active, take damage. Health bar. Collision detect. Okay, let's try that. Let me go with just these. Okay, so my collision detection is going to be equal to game.hero, game.enemy. There. Let's try getting hit. I take so much damage. Oh, I had my collision class as well. If not collision flag. Would it change without the collision flag? But I do need like 1 collision per flag. Okay, now if I run the command, I'm pretty sure this isn't gonna work. Huh. Alright, my buff bar takes 1 damage. So in that case, why does my health bar take more than 1 damage? Okay. Let me copy that. Paste it. Paste it. Okay, wait, that wouldn't make any sense. Instead of skeleton collision, what if I were to go with... Let me just remove skeleton collision from here. Instead, I'll go with collision in general. Collision equals to false because I haven't collided yet. Okay, let me just go with game.collision. This is gonna be collision. Okay, does my buff bar take damage once? That does take damage once. Time for my health bar. My health bar takes so much damage. Let me go with the control A, control C. Get Sensei back here. Paste a bunch of spaces. Let me say Sensei. My buff bar takes damage perfectly, but my health bar takes a lot of damage. Is there a way for it to take damage per frame? Question mark. I see what you're doing, Vivek. You're letting every frame count as full damage hit. 60 FPS. Okay, why this happens right now? Okay. inside collision detection. This runs every frame that the hero enemy overlaps. So if your game is running at 60 FPS, okay, fix cooldown. 0.5 seconds of cooldown. Do I want to add a cooldown instead? Okay, so let's say, is there a way to do it without a cooldown question mark? Like, every time they collide, but I just take damage once. Now we're talking about damage once per collision, not per frame. I see what you mean. That's actually cleaner than using cooldown sometimes. The trick is tracking collision per state. Game object image has collided is set to false, okay. Update your collision logic, okay. If not, has collided, enemy has collided, okay. Alright, let me actually add that. Okay, so under my collision logic, maybe I paste that. Okay, has collided. Although under my game logic, I gotta add a self.has collided instance variable as well, so that equal to false. Okay, so that's gonna be somewhere right here. Under my game objects, there, at the flag. Okay. Let's see, my collision logic's right here. Okay, what happens if I run the command? Need the meat. Okay. Spawn skeleton. Okay. So where's my collision logic? Right there. If overlap, if buff bars activate, buff bar takes damage, also health bar takes damage. Enemy has collided. Okay, so for every enemy in game.enemies, the enemy dot has collided. First frame of collision, if enemy dot, my enemy is my game dot, okay, my enemy is my enemy, which is my game dot enemies. Okay, this should most likely be my, let's see, game object dot, what method was it called? I forgot. Collision flag. Okay, wait, never mind. Okay, I don't need a collision flag, right? Let me remove my collision flag. Okay, now if I run the command, let's see what happens if I collide now. Okay, my player does take damage once. Okay, hold up, I gotta try winning. No. Okay. I do get the gist of it. Else enemy has underscore collided reset when they separate. Okay. Okay, honestly, yeah, I think I understand what's happening now. Okay, that aside, honestly, guys, I might actually end the stream early today because I do got my college stuff to do. And I think I am pretty exhausted as well. Next stream, I will ask Sensei about what the Dunder name does. Like, what if I didn't have my Dunder name here? Just out of pure curiosity. Okay, now if I run the command, I'm pretty sure it should all work the same. I don't even need my dungeon name. There, I take 1 damage. Okay, I take a singular damage. I'm pretty sure that it's time for the boss to spawn. Oh, I see what dungeon name is for. Wait, hold up. Was that just me or did I take a lot of damage that time? Okay, I take 1 damage. I took 2 damage. That was 2 again. Was I taking 1 damage or was I taking damage twice? Let's see. Okay, I took damage once. That I took damage twice back then. Did I take damage twice or was it just me? Okay, I take damage once. Take it again. I took damage again. Okay. Let me just heal a little. There, let's check how the boss damage pods. That's okay. I think I'm taking 1 damage itself. Alright. Guys, I will try. I will look if I have more time after like the stream. After I'm done streaming my call this stuff. After I have like to study this code, I will study this code a little. That aside, let me actually go with the control Z. Okay, this basically means the new enemy is the enemy specific name. Okay, with that out of the way, let me actually go to my main camera. Alright guys, I know I honestly should have done much this stream, but I do got a lot of college work to do. Like actually I have like way too much. That aside, if you guys enjoyed this stream, make sure to like, share, subscribe, like helps my algorithm sharing, make me smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. So if you guys haven't already followed me on Twitch and Kick and you guys enjoy my content, make sure you guys follow me there. And if you guys haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe to me on YouTube. After my college, I will try streaming for like longer because I usually prefer streaming like for hours, but I actually have a lot of stuff to do today. And I am kind of burnt out as well. That aside, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace! And make sure to join the Discord as well. Link is in the description and the pinned comment.